The evening felt as grand as always. A long table draped in ivory linen ran down the center of the dining hall. Crystal glasses gleamed beneath chandeliers. The scent of roasted duck and aged wine hung in the air. Laughter bounced around the room. My parents, aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone I'd believed was family. They sat with wine in hand and plates full of food I'd paid for. I stepped away for a phone call. When I came back, I paused behind heavy velvet curtains and overheard a conversation that broke me. "She's too stupid to notice. We only keep her for her money," my father said, cold and arrogant. The room erupted in laughter. My mother sighed dramatically and added, "Honestly, I thought she'd have caught on by now. Our little idiot keeps paying for everything, happy to be included." Cousins snickered, and uncle sneered that she actually thinks she belongs here. I couldn't breathe. Warmth turned into a creeping cold. I clutched the curtain's edge, fingernails digging into the fabric as their words drilled into me. I had built a business from the ground up. I had worked so hard. I thought they were proud. Instead, I was their ATM. They didn't love or respect me. They used me. I could have burst in, confronted them, screamed. Instead, my pulse pounding, I forced myself to breathe. I swallowed the fire in my throat and let my face go blank. If they believed I was blind to their manipulation, I'd let them. They'd just made the biggest mistake of their lives. I stepped back into the dining hall, smiling. "Everything okay?" my mother asked, sweet as if she hadn't stabbed me. I nodded, neutral. "Just a business call," my father approved. "Good girl. You should always be working. That's why you're successful." I clamped my jaw. "You mean that's why you're successful?" I thought, and let them continue their act. Their chat turned to vacations, watches, and stock tips. Luxuries they'd never earned but enjoyed because of me. A plan formed in my head. Let them enjoy it a little longer. Soon it would be gone. The next morning I called my financial advisor, Jacob. "Remove all family members from shared accounts immediately." He hesitated. I said sharply, "Freeze all cards except mine. Decline any transactions." By afternoon, my father called furious. His card declined at the golf club. "Fix it now," he barked. I didn't. I watched their illusion of wealth begin to crumble. A week later, I attended a high-profile charity gala, an event they'd only accessed because of me. They arrived in designer clothes, unaware their world was about to change. When it was my turn to speak, I walked to the stage with a steady breath and thanked those who supported me, because they believed in me, not for what they could get. Then I said what needed saying. I'd learned some people only love you when you're useful. As of today, I was cutting financial ties with those who took advantage of my success. Gasps and murmurs. I watched my mother grip the tablecloth. My father shifted uneasily. The announcement was done. The morning after the gala, my phone flooded with missed calls and messages from my parents. I didn't answer. I sipped my coffee and let the chaos play out. By noon, my mother called again. I picked up. "How dare you? Do you know what you've done? The bank froze our accounts. Our cards are declined. We can't even get into the country club," she wailed. I spoke with the same eeriness I'd heard at dinner. My father in the background demanded I fix this now. Entitlement dripped from his voice. I had funded their lifestyle, and they still treated me like a child who owed them. I tapped my fingers. "I don't think I will," I said. Silence. My mother shifted to a syrupy tone. "Darling, there's been a misunderstanding. Why don't we sit down and—" I cut her off. Calm, but cold. "I heard everything. I was standing behind you at the family dinner." My words landed. She gasped. He muttered, then tried to claim they were joking. "Joking?" I let out a dry laugh. They didn't sound like they were joking when they called me an idiot and said I was only useful for my money. I hung up and let them stew. This was only the start. By day's end, their lives were unraveling. Luxury cars repossessed, club memberships revoked, warnings from banks. Without my money, mortgages were at risk. Their so-called friends, the ones who flocked to them when they were flush, vanished. I watched in quiet satisfaction as the people who had mocked me became the subject of mockery. When the media picked up the story after my gala announcement, whispers turned to rumors and then to headlines. Self-made entrepreneur severs ties after financial abuse. Daughter exposes parents living off her success. Their social standing collapsed. Business contacts stopped returning calls. Invitations stopped coming. The people who once courted them were now mocking them. And there was nothing they could do. Weeks passed. They lost the house. Designer clothes and jewelry were sold to pay debts. The untouchable couple who had looked down on me were now drowning in debt. And even then they tried to manipulate me. One afternoon my father showed up at my office. He looked different. The expensive suits gone, a worn blazer, a hollow face, a defeated posture. A tiny fragment of pity surfaced, and then snapped shut. I crossed my arms. "What do you want?" he sighed, rehearsed and weak. "Sweetheart, we made a mistake. We should have treated you better." I raised an eyebrow. "Should've?" He fumbled for words. I told him to apologize outright. He didn't. He wanted me to fix his mess. I saw it. He didn't feel guilty. He felt caught. "You ungrateful little," he spat. I laughed. "There it is," I said. "After everything you've done for me, what exactly did you do for me?" Silence. That was the answer. I stood and told him to leave. For the first time he had no power. I had all of it. My mother tried another angle, sobbing on the phone, claiming she loved me and missed me. I let her cry, then asked, "If you miss me so much, why did you laugh while calling me an idiot?" Dead silence. I smiled and hung up. That was the last time I spoke to them. The days afterward were quiet. No more entitled demands. No more fake warmth. For the first time I wasn't waiting for their approval. I wasn't seeking validation. I was free. Still something nagged at me. People like my parents don't give up without a fight. A gold-trimmed envelope arrived at my office, a last relic of arrogance. My father's looping handwriting begged for a reasonable meeting, warned that people were talking and that I'd regret it if I didn't fix things. They still thought they had leverage. I crumbled the letter and dropped it in the trash. Let them suffer. I owed them nothing. 2 weeks later, a viral video showed my father ranting outside a country club, proclaiming I was ungrateful and had punished them. My mother, in crocodile tears for the cameras, begged the public to judge me for abandoning them. Their final trick: play the victims and turn the world against me. They underestimated one thing: the truth was on my side. That night I posted a simple factual statement. I'd been standing behind my parents the night they laughed about me and used me for my money. I heard every word. I had no regrets about cutting them off. Within minutes the response was overwhelmingly on my side. Comments supported me. Their last attempt backfired. Days became weeks. Their reputation lay in ruins. Friends abandoned them. Influence vanished. When my assistant told me my mother was at the office looking bad, a part of me wanted closure. I let her in. She walked in small and disheveled. Hair messy, eyes hollow, designer clothes wrinkled and cheap-looking. She sat, hands trembling, and sobbed, "I don't know what to do. We've lost everything." This was the moment she could have said the one thing that might make me reconsider. "I'm sorry," but instead she confessed. "You were never supposed to find out." My heart hardened. That wasn't regret. It was regret about being caught. I stood. "We're done," I said. She lunged for me to wait, but I walked away. Nothing left to salvage. In that moment I realized they were incapable of change. People who see you only as a resource don't grow a conscience when that resource dries up. I didn't have to destroy them. They'd destroyed themselves. My father ended up managing at a used car lot. My mother sold cheap knockoff jewelry online. My siblings, who had laughed the night of the dinner, turned on each other. My brother moved in with a friend. My sister worked retail. The mansion they flaunted was gone. They had lived on my dime, believing it would never stop. Now they learned how cold the world can be when you have no one left to manipulate. A year passed. My business grew. I was thriving. One day a short letter came from my brother asking for help, invoking family. I folded the note and placed it on the fire. The truth was clear. When they had no options, they wanted me for what I could give. I was done giving. Years went by. I built a life they never could have imagined. A successful company, real friends, real love, real happiness. My parents faded into irrelevance, living in a rundown apartment in a city they once sneered at. No power, no status, no wealth, and no me. They had spent their lives belittling and draining me. In the end, they needed me more than I ever needed them. The most satisfying part was that I didn't have to ruin them. I simply walked away. They destroyed themselves. Game over.